Hello everyone, this is a video tutorial for the HEMA Scorecard software that we're going to be using for the Wessex League tournament. I'm going to show you basically all the information that a table staff will need in order to work with the software on the day. There are a few things different from years we've done previously. For those who've done it before, there are some people who'll be tabling for the first time, and also you might just be interested in how it works if you're using Scorecard elsewhere or if you are a competitor and you're not even tabling. So we'll quickly get started. Um, the HEMA scorecard page you'll come to, you'll probably already be logged in, but sometimes it resets. So if you're not there, you'll click the login page. The people who are using this from a table perspective will select event staff. In this case, it's already selected, but you'll have a tournament select here, and you have a password that I'll give you on the day. So there are lots of tournaments that are set up. Today we're going to be playing about with the heavyweight Open Rattan Danax tournament, which has been set up as just a trial tournament that shows everything. The settings are the same, looks exactly like tournaments will be set up. It's currently in progress, unlike the other ones, so which is why they look slightly different here. Generally speaking, to get to your tournament, you can either do it here from whatever page you're on, or you can click on it here. Scorecard has a bunch of different things. Most of these things are not going to be things you're going to be using. Okay. The checking in gear check will be done at the start. Most people will be just dealing with specific matches. Right now, it's showing everybody who's in the tournament on the tournament roster page. Pool rosters show anyone in a given pool. Again, you won't be doing much on this one apart from seeing who is in it. The pools are a bit weird for this year because we are doing Swiss system. So generally speaking, we'll have pools of 2. There are some situations that might lead to a pool of 3, although we're hoping to avoid it. And as the rounds progress, the pools will change. In this case, we are mid-round 3. So it's going to be moving forward from that perspective. In most cases, to find where you want to get to, you'll be going to pool matches. You'll be told which matches you're doing. Okay, so if I go to a previous round, these are completed matches. As you can see, they're fully colored. And these are matches that are yet to happen. The fighters will be sent to their relevant mats, and they'll be able to tell you who they are. This is only 9 people. Our tournaments are bigger. There will normally be 3 or 4 fights per round on each piece, and then it will go from there. To open up a match, simply click on the match. There are a few things to note. This is what it will look like at the start. The timer is up here. We have this warning, which I'll come to in a second. And as the fight is going on, what we'll be doing is for every exchange, we'll be updating the score and demonstrating what we will be doing. So, the first thing to note when your fight starts is this prior penalties warning. I'll show you how that gets there in a second. If it comes up before the match starts, you as the table staff will need to click on it. And it tells us of a prior penalty. Some penalties won't matter too much, whether they've been prior or not, for instance, hitting the floor. Some of them, particularly ones related to safety, such as striking your friend in the back of the head with a Danax, you need to make the head judge aware, because this might have happened on their piece or it might not have. So as table staff, if you see prior penalties, click on the link, read what it is, call your head judge over, and make sure they are aware of whichever fighter has been bad earlier in the tournament. Bad Amelia for hitting Gethin back of the head. Once the fight is ready to start, the head judge will ask fighters if they are ready, ask the table if they're ready, and call start. At the moment that they call start, you hit the timer button and it starts counting down. The timer can also, nope, I lied. I thought it could be stopped with the spacebar. I was wrong. If you need to stop the timer for whatever reason, you just click on it. Having said that, do not stop the timer unless the head judge tells you to. Most situations, particularly if they're just talking or calling points, the timer is continuous. Okay, it's only if there is a very long pause would the timer stop. If for some reason you didn't start it or you didn't stop it, when it stopped, you can manually change the time, do a different time, whatever it happens to be. I'm going to do 30 seconds for my demonstration, and then when you restart, it'll be on that perspective. So whatever you need from that side. I pause it temporarily. So during the match, the head judge is going to call out the score. So the head judge will assess the situation in whichever fight you're in and call out a score. The score that they will call out will be something like 3 points red, 2 points blue, or 3 points red, or whatever it happens to be. They might also call out no quality. Whatever they call, record it here. So if they say 3 points red, no quality blue, you record 3 points red, no quality blue. Okay? And hit this. This will then record here. They might call no exchange. They might have seen things happened and nothing, they couldn't work out what it was, and the head judge will say no exchange, add no exchange. Okay? It's as simple as that. Whatever they call, put it in. It's very important that you record every single fight. It's one of the conditions that Sean Franklin gives for using Scorecard, because every single exchange, regardless of whether it results in points, because he uses the statistics for things. So please do make sure whatever you get called by the head judge, you record it. If you make a mistake, don't worry, it's fixable. The simplest way, and what normally happens, is the head judge has said 3 points, blue, and you've recorded it. And then red will put their hand up and say, that's not what happened, and they make their objection, which they're allowed to do in the Wessex system. And maybe the objection is upheld, in which case you need to change what you did. Simplest way normally is hit clear last exchange, and you go back here, we've cleared last exchange, and now you just record whatever the new structure is. If for some reason you need to go back further, then just record the score and work it out, clear last exchange, and build it back up. If the ref calls out a penalty, this is the box you use for that. So penalties can occur for a number of reasons. Sometimes they're minor, like if you step out of the ring too many times, you get a point violation, a point deduction. If you hit the floor too many times, you get a point deduction. Sometimes they're major in terms of safety issues. So sometimes it may result in even as far as being banned from the rest of the tournament. Whatever the penalty is, the head judge will call it to you. So they'll say something like red, 1 point penalty for hitting the floor. Red, 1 point penalty. We're not using this, so ignore it. Hitting the floor. Done. And as you can see now, the exchange is added as a penalty, deduction done. Just as everything else, if I want to remove it for whatever reason, I can clear that last penalty. So it's the same as any other exchange. That is how these end up appearing. So in subsequent fights with that fighter, the prior penalties will appear in any subsequent fights. There are two situations where a match can finish. Either a point cap is reached, 15 for all of these. So when the 15th exchange, the exchange that reached 15 points is completed, the match will finish. Okay. Most of the time, it'll say end of pool here. If you've got one of the 3-person pools, it'll give you the link to the next fight. The same things will happen, as I mentioned before, that maybe the concluding fight, blue contests, and we have to reopen the match. Fine. Reopen match. The timer starts as paused. Clear the last exchange, and either the point will be given and we'll know, and the fight will conclude again, or the fight will continue. Right. Which brings me to the other way that a fight can continue, end rather, which is that when the timer reaches negative. Now, one thing to say is when the timer reaches to 10 seconds, the table staff should call out last exchange loudly so the head judge can hear you, which they will repeat to the fighters. Essentially, that means there was one more exchange left, and whatever the results after that, the fight ends. The fight does not stop when the timer reaches 0. The fight stops when an exchange has happened, so there must be some kind of contact. If the last exchange was a no exchange, it'll be replayed, so don't record that, because you have to reopen the fight. But if there is any kind of scoring exchange, even if it is both of them hitting each other with the same thing, once that exchange has been submitted, once again the fight will end. And again, if you need to reopen the fight to change the scores because of an objection or whatever, you do so. Once concluded, end of pool, you're back to this, and you'll have another fighter queued up to come in, work out who they are, and repeat the process. That is the core of the table management for Wessex League. Most of the time, table will be doing nothing more than that. It is slightly different in a finals bracket. Well, this doesn't quite work for reasons, but whatever. Okay, and Emidio and Gethin are going to fight again. When the final bracket has been populated, these will all be coming in. You won't be responsible for populating that, don't worry. But the fights will all be listed here, and rather than clicking on here, you click on here, the go button. And once you've done that, it is exactly the same as anything else. One final thing I forgot to mention, which is that fights cannot end on a draw. This is either in the pool stage or the Swiss stage or the elimination stage. If you're in a situation where a fight and both fighters have the same score, the match will not conclude. You'll go to a sudden death situation. You get this error message. Don't worry about it. And the fight will continue until you have a situation where there is a clear winner. And at that point, the fight will finish. At no point in any of this is there any need to record the scores from the fight anywhere else. For every single round, the results will be automatically updated onto the scorecard system. Subsequent rounds will keep it through. So there's nothing else to do for the table staff apart from managing the fights and keeping the head ref informed of what's going on. So that concludes this video tutorial. If you have any questions, if anything's unclear, ping it through to the Wessex League email or in the comments here, and hopefully this is useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at Wessex League 2021.